Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We are here tonight for some category 1 racing action around the Saints Village.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, oh. And this is just the beginning, I need a big change, only feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1.
He goes second two! Oh my goodness!
Geesh went wide.
Oh, he's run wide and goes down!
Oh my!
Oh no! No! You can't do that!
You see that steering wheel? What that is.
Hudson is somehow keeping it on the track surface! It's a spectacular drive, and he will take his first win in the top flight of Sector 1.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Sector 1 Sim Racing live here on YouTube. We are, of course, here at the sunny beaches of Daytona, Florida, in the United States of the Americas. Some may say the land of the brave, home of the free, or vice versa. I'm not sure, but either way, the weather is absolutely beautiful here at Daytona Beach. My name, of course, is Mr. Carbon Boy, and joining me in the comms box tonight is none other than Mr. Grovel as our race director for the first race up tonight. Mr. Grovel, how are we this evening?
Yeah, going pretty good, thanks.
Excellent, glad to hear it. It's been a pretty hectic weekend here for some of the Sector 1 lads. There was a few of them up at Eastern Creek Raceway this weekend doing a real-life 24-hour go-kart race. Just off the top of my head, we had the likes of Young Mountain Goat, we had Lenosis, there was a Mr. CP Greenie there, who's a CP Motorsports driver, not in Sector 1 at this point in time, but has been around a little bit. And of course, who have I forgotten? There was Mountain Goat, Lenosis, Muffin, and Greenie. That's it. Now, they didn't exactly have the best of luck with the kart over the weekend, but from what I have been told, they started in 23rd position. And let's be honest, in a 24-hour race, finishing the race alone is a massive achievement. So I think they came home in 20th position overall. So managing to finish after 24 hours and move forward at the same time is an absolutely commendable effort. So well done, lads. Now, I have been informed from the team owners that Mr. Muffin is going to be absent from the race tonight, as he needs a little bit of a nana nap, from what I've been told. But joining us on the grid tonight is Mr. Lenosis, and I did speak to him a little bit earlier to say that he's a little bit physically and mentally worse for wear. It would be a bit of an understatement. But he is here tonight to secure hopefully some personal points and some team points. Now, speaking of which, we should have a quick little look at those after we have a look at our track map for here at Daytona. Now, it is a beautiful little course, 5.7 kilometers long, 12 turns, depending on your interpretation of a turn. Like Red Bull Ring, of course. Now, we've got our tyre usage at 3 times, our fuel usage at 4 times, with a refuel rate of 3 litres a second. Now, while we have had a few complaints about that this season, that is, of course, to encourage people to not use all of the fuel all the time, as there can be quite a significant time saving in the pit stops alone. And speaking of which, with the strategy tonight, that can be either the choice of a single pit stop, running, of course, both compulsory compounds of the mediums and the softs, is doing a basically run till about halfway through the 26 laps on either compound of tyre, duck into the pits, brim the tank again, throw the other compound on, and go till the end. Or the other strategy, of course, which we did not see commonly used last week, is the two-stop strategy. Being a double stint on the racing softs and a single, much shorter stint on the racing mediums. Now, yours truly managed to get away with using the two-stop strategy last week, but I think its success is largely dependent on a fair amount of luck when it comes to moving through traffic in the field and also running consistent fast laps. So while on paper the double stop strategy, at least for me in testing, was about 15 to 20 seconds faster than the single stop, due to the McLaren's inability to save fuel and still go fast, at least in my hands. Maybe someone else can pull it off tonight, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm sure we will find out very, very shortly in regards to who's doing what in terms of strategy. Now, we just have a quick look at the individual drivers' points as well. So currently in category 2B, leading the way, we have Lenosis for APR Motorsport on 163 points, and a mere 19 points adrift is his teammate Ricky Bobby, also in APR. Then we've got Sneaky Stevo having an absolutely brilliant debut season in the Jamco Racing Team Ferrari on 136 points. They've got the Dadson Racing Team owner Dadson in the little Peugeot that could on 127. We've got another team owner in the form of Artsy for Thunder Motorsport in the McLaren on 120 points. 1 point behind is Big J in the little Peugeot for Lightning Motorsport. Then we've got Boy Bagoom for Black Rose on 114, just in front of his teammate Morgan Davies in the Black Rose Racing Porsche on 108. A little bit further adrift, we've got Danico for Hoon Corp on 86 points. We've got Mr. Rocky Bullfrog for Doghouse, aka D Reed, on 79 points, just in front of Tim Durags for Jamco on 78. And we've got Stickers for Lightning Motorsport, the team owner, on 76, who is actually unavailable for racing tonight and will be filled in for by one of his drivers, Killer on the Loose. So it'll be nice to see him stepping in for some team points tonight. We've got Hodes for Hoon Corp, on 46 points, and stepping in for zero placement, who's been a bit MIA this season. For Symmetry will be the Symmetry team owner Archangel in the McLaren to pick up a few teams points for Symmetry Motorsports tonight. So, Mr. Grovel, who's been looking good in practice tonight? Who's on form? Who's setting the timesheets alight? What's going on? Fill us in.
From what I see, I'd probably say that Morgan Davies looked really quick out there. From what I've quickly seen, I was doing a few other things. So, yeah, Morgan Davies looked really quick for a one-lap pace. I know in Div 3 last week, the Porsches did really well with a second and third, I believe. Porsches seem to do pretty well here by the look of it. Not to mention the Ferraris, but yeah, Morgan Davies looked pretty quick. It's hard to say on the rest of it. I sort of didn't see the others. A few of the others were sort of a bit behind, so might have been Sneaky Stevo might have been up there as well.
In my experience last week, I can confirm that both the Porsches and the Ferraris are blisteringly quick here at Daytona. Whether tyre wear will come into play here tonight remains to be seen. But what do you say we push that big button and get qualifying underway and see what happens?
I'll just give them a bit of a heads up, and I'll just reset the room a couple of times just to make sure.
No worries, we will get that all sorted. Make sure there's a nice clean connection for everybody. Good evening everybody in the YouTube chat. Mr. Robert Rice firing it in for first position. Hello Mr. Daniel Sager. G'day Mr. Bumcrack Debrev. Archangel, what are you doing in here, mate? You're meant to be on track. Morgan Davey, same goes for you. Get out of the YouTube chat. Get on the track, boys. Just kidding. It's nice to have you, everyone here. Mr. Aussie Sim Racing, hello. He's got the Jamco Racing cheer squad going on. The Ford man, 888. Bit of a Craig Lowndes fan. One could possibly hazard a guess. And Mr. Greg's in here supporting his Symmetry team owner by the looks of things, so pleasure to have everyone here tonight. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscription, you know the deal. Every little bit helps the algorithm and helps get our videos out to everybody across the interwebs. And I sound so old saying that, and I do not care. Rightio, so
okay, we're just about done. I've just done a few resets. Sometimes it takes a little while because as people tick in, it won't allow me to reset it. So yeah, just waiting for everyone to tick in.
Everybody's so super keen to get going. It's nice to see.
Yep, I think we have everyone. No, Morgan Davies and Lenosis.
Morgan, why is it always you, mate? Come on. We can't start the qualifying without, well, we could, but I don't think you'd be particularly happy about it.
We could.
And I'm pretty sure your team owner wouldn't be particularly happy about it either. So it'd be a little bit unfair. So if you could do yourself a favour, rightio, let's push the button, drop the hammer, get things going. Now I'm actually struggling to remember what the qualifying time was from last week.
I know mine in my division. It was Madrick who did a blistering 46.1. But from what I've seen tonight, the guys I think will be in the mid 45s.
Right.
Maybe a little bit quicker, but a lot of that's wind dependent.
100%. The wind here at Daytona is absolutely critical. It is worth up to a second, depending on which way the wind's blowing. So at the moment, it's a bit of a northwesterly at 5.6 meters a second. So I wouldn't say that's entirely favourable. It does make for a good run around the final embankment onto the main straight. But as we get our drivers coming out of the pits.
We have the filly, Mr. Archangel, right out in front, do we?
I just realised I've had my microphone muted, so my apologies, everybody.
Oates has just gotten a penalty on his outlap. He's served it, but that will probably wipe out this lap as well. So
those penalties do tend to hurt quite badly. So apologies for the lack of audio there. I had the microphone muted for some strange own reason. Was unmuted, but you know, gotta love technical gremlins. I love it.
So we've got a massive gap between Archangel and Lenosis, and then Lenosis is sort of sitting way out in front of Ricky Bobby, and then it's a bit of a freight train for the next like 5 cars.
100%. As I was saying when the microphone was muted, we've got Ricky Bobby, and then we've got Thunder RC in the slipstream of him, with Sneaky Stevo tucked in as well. A little bit further back is his teammate Tim Durags, and we've got Dadson in the green and gold Peugeot inspired British touring car livery. Please correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat.
Well, if you didn't mention it the second time, they wouldn't have known about the first time, so they wouldn't have corrected you. So you could have gotten away with that one.
I want to find out if I'm wrong or not. And then we've got D. Reed
Oh,
for
someone
the
just got a
Doghouse.
penalty. Mr. Dadson.
Boy Bagoom, Morgan Davies, like you said, and Big J as well. It is a massive freight train there for the slipstream.
Yep.
So
Both
obviously,
Dadson and D. Reed, team and team owner, have both got a penalty. They're both pulling in the pit, so probably not going to hurt them.
I see
actually, will they do it on the
Danico
next
sitting
lap?
in the pits at the moment. I think he's actually serving a back of the grid penalty tonight for some indiscretions last round at Red Bull Ring. So that is why he is sitting in the pits, not going anywhere.
Morgan Davies comes out firing with a 4.59.
Go. He's not here to muck
Pretty
around.
swift with a... That's pretty swift with that win. Sneaky Stevo's a good 8 tenths behind. Ricky Bobby is only 0.028 behind Sneaky Stevo.
That is a massive gap
Tim
between
Durags,
Morgan and Sneaky
0.097.
Stevo.
The next 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, there is nothing between them.
Yeah, you've got 8.5 tenths back from Ricky Bobby from Morgan. Then a couple of hundredths to Tim Durags. 1/10 back to Artsy. A couple of thousandths between him and Big J. And then just a few tenths back to Boy Bagoom. So, I mean, there's a 1.5 second gap between P1 and P8. But like you said, that sort of P4 to P8 range, that is hotly contested right now. But I think
Big
the
J was
slipstream...
purple, but he's now picked up.
I think the
It's blue.
I think the slipstream is going to be massively important here for qualifying, as we see the two Black Rose Racing Porsches. I was about to say they're working together brilliantly for a slipstream, but Boy Bagum ducks into the pits, so there goes that idea. Oh, sorry, Morgan Davies ducks into the pits.
Yeah, so did Sneaky Stevo and Ricky Bobby at the same time as well. Only 0.028 between those two.
Big J pops himself up into P2. Tim Durags firing on all cylinders at the moment. Third on the grid. Knocks his teammate down to fourth.
Big J second with a 40. Is that a 46.5 that he did?
That is correct, a 46.584. So he's still 0.6 behind Morgan Davies, so I'm wondering how much of Morgan's lap was a slipstream assistant, or is that just absolutely raw pace?
I don't know. I don't know who he was. I thought there was a bit of a gap between him and... I don't know.
Because if that's raw pace, that's slightly terrifying.
Yeah, that's quick. I'm pretty sure I've seen him hit mid 40, a 45.4 or 45.5 or something in practice, but...
So here we go. I've just checked in with Boy Bagum in P7th. He is 0.6 up on his best time. He's 1.4 seconds off the pole position time, off his teammate. But he's on an absolute cracker here as he ducks into the pits, so never mind. Oh, it's gotten a little spicy in the backpack. We've got Hodes and Dadson playing slipstream buddies.
Yeah, I think what's happened, is a few of the guys like Datsun and the Reed and stuff, they've gone in and they've done a banker, and then they've done a pit, and so then they've come out with those penalties and had to serve a penalty. So they probably actually haven't done a true quali lap yet. Not a clean one anyway.
Do you think they're maybe having trouble getting a cleaner, better lap in?
I think so. They've pitted and then they've come out and they're caught up in a bit of the backpack, I think.
So the strategy of getting a fresh set of boots on has put them back into some traffic. So maybe that strategy has not quite paid off for them.
No, because it's one of those tracks too where if you come out of the gate like first lap and you're pushing it, you might struggle depending on what car to get 5 laps. So
Lenosis has put himself up into P4. He is still 0.6 off the lead, but he is nearly 0.2 up on his best time, so he might just be able to knock Tim Durags off third position here.
Morgan Davies is just on a 10th purple.
Gets a great run through the bus stop. He's going to pick up a little bit of a slipstream here from Archangel. Still 0.2 up on his best time. Tim Durags is in the pits. He's almost out of fuel.
Morgan Davies is still just over at 10 purple.
Lenosis taking full advantage of the slipstream off Archangel here. He might find himself in P2 on the grid. And he does with a 146.3. Gets the slipstream, gets the run, gets held up a little bit through
Sneaky
turn 1.
Stevo. Very sneaky, just snuck in with a 45.668.
If you don't mind.
Just blew Morgan's by 0.3 of a second. And Morgan has pulled over, he must be out of fuel.
He's pulled off an absolutely clutch lap there. I think he was in the slipstream of Thunder Artsy there by the look of it, with the orange and black McLaren in front of him, but that is a strategically brilliant move if that was his intention.
I think there's a couple of guys like Datson's moved up to 6, but I think he might be pushing through his last lap, but He might get caught up behind a couple of guys, possibly. Timby Rags has dropped all the way down to 7th now.
That does look very busy out on track in front of Dadson. Although he's nearly half a second up on his best time, so this could work out quite well for him. We'll stay on board with Dadson. He's currently P6 on the grid.
Well, he's going to get a toe off Ricky as well by looking at it. Yep, he's pulled right up on Ricky Bobby.
Backs off a little bit through the bus stop. Gets a great
Needs
run
a good
out.
Clean. That's a nice run.
He will have the slipstream all the way home. He's half a second up.
Half a second, wow.
He will definitely jump Big J. He might even jump Ricky Bobby.
He's
Might
going
put
to
himself
get very
up.
close to Morgan, I think.
Deep in the toe, on the run towards the line. Pulls out of the slipstream. Wants down the inside of Ricky Bobby. Puts himself
Bang.
into P2 with a 146.839. Absolutely brilliant clutch lap there from Dadson. That has worked out brilliantly for him.
Strategized that well doing that pit stop.
That could have gone either way for him, and it fortunately has worked out absolutely perfectly for him. So that is our qualifying session run and done. So let's have a look at those do a quick recap of those qualifying results. And we will be not far off from kicking off their first race tonight. So on pole for Jamco Racing in the Ferrari 458 is Sneaky Stevo with a 145.668. Not that far adrift with a brilliantly performed clutch lap there is Dadson in the little Peugeot, just to break up the order of the cars in the front. Third place on the first of the second row is Mr. Morgan Davies for Black Rose Racing, joined by my boy Lenosis from APR Motorsport. Then is my other boy Ricky Bobby in P5, joined by another McLaren on the third row of the grid in the form of Artsy for Thunder Motorsport. And on the fourth row of the grid we've got Big J for the Lightning Motorsport Peugeot and Tim Durags in the Jamco Ferrari. And we've got a boy Bagum in the second Black Rose Racing Porsche, joined by D. Reed in the Doghouse Peugeot. On the sixth row of the grid, we've got Killer on the Loose with a pretty good drive, I would say, to qualify P11 in the Lightning Motorsport Peugeot, filling in for Mr. Stickers. Then we've got Hodes for Hooncorp in P12. And we've got Archangel in 13th for Symmetry Motorsports, and our back of the grid starter tonight is Mr. Danico for Hooncorp. Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, your podium predictions, please. I would like to see your top three. Now, bear in mind you can't just take qualifying into account. We've got to take into account race pace, a possible strategy, those sorts of things. But one could also argue that qualifying pace is a good insight in terms of a race pace. I guess it can go either way. So, what are your thoughts, Grovel?
Oh, look. We've got a Ferrari on the top row, which doesn't surprise me. We've also got a Porsche up in third as well. So, and we've got Lenosis, who's currently leading by a fair bit of a gap, followed by his teammate Ricky Bobby. So, look, it's a tough call. It's a really tough call. And like Datsun has been known to put out, do some pretty good races as well, having been in Div 1 at times. So. It's a tough call. I wouldn't put money on anyone. I think it's going to be too hard to call. It's going to come down to strategy, tyre wear, fuel. So yeah.
It was mentioned in the chat that there's 4 manufacturers in the top 5, so definitely that is a good thing to see. We've obviously got the Ferrari, we've got the Peugeot, we've got the Porsche, and the Macca. Well, given that they're the 4 manufacturers that we are running this season. It's nice to see one of each in the top 4. That's yeah, it's an indication that no matter what you're driving, under the right circumstances, everybody's got an equal opportunity to have a crack at a win. So what do you say we give them that crack at having a win and get Category 2B underway?
Yeah, I shall give them a quick notice and we shall get going.
So we've got predictions in the chat from Archangel with Lenosis, Artsy, Morgan, and we've got Robert Rice reckons Sneaky Stevo, Lenosis, Dadson, Super Fun, g'day mate, how we doing? Danico, Big J, Lenosis. Bit of a curveball there, I like it. Yeah, so I'm liking those predictions, but we've got the drivers on the grid now for our typical rolling start. So the clutches have been dropped. The guys are underway for a rolling start of around about 80 kilometers an hour. The lights go green and we are underway racing here at Daytona Beach. Everybody, of course, gets a lovely smooth start. As long as you don't miss your shift, you should be good to go. All looking pretty civilized through the first turn.
Well, might be a little bit of a bump back in 7th, 8th and 9th maybe. A little bit hard to tell, I was a little bit further off. Well, yeah, the back 4 are really sort of having a bit of a go at it. But
that's a beautiful camera angle there we had of turn 4, I would say. Yeah, those the 5 cars at the back of the grid were looking very, very bump and grindy there. A little bit of jostling for position, but nothing too out of the ordinary as Morgan Davies sends it down the inside of Dadson at the infield horseshoe. The second horseshoe. Dadson looks to return serve coming onto the embankment, but Morgan manages to cover off the apex and says nothing doing. Now he's just outside of the slipstream of Sneaky Stevo, so that could hurt. Dadson's right in the slipstream, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move at the bus stop. A little bit further afield, Lenosis P4. Ricky Bobby P5, being rear gunner for Team APR.
it's going to be interesting these first few laps to see who pulls away, because these different cars, even though depending on like the qualifying, the fuel save, tyre save strategy is also going to come into play really quickly, because if you're trying to save, you've got to save fuel.
100%. I've just got eyes on Big J and Tim DeRags. At the moment, it looked like Tim DeRags was giving a bit of bump draft there to Big J on down the embankment, as I think Big J was carrying a bit too much speed into turn 1. He runs a little wide.
Boy become flying in behind them as well. So
it just looked like Artsy might have been lifting off a little bit going into turn 1, as he's now side by side with Tim DeRags through the infield. This could get very, very spicy very, very quickly.
Morgan Davies and Sneaky Stevo have pulled out, but they've pulled out to the tune of about 1.5 seconds from Dadson. I'm just wondering whether these two guys, could be wrong, they could be just better on fuel. They are heading for a two-stop maybe.
Sorry, I just had the camera going on Tim DeRags and Artsy. They were side by side all the way through that infield, but they have managed to sort things out and everybody gets through unscathed. Tim DeRags moves up into P6. So checking in with Morgan Davies and Sneaky Stevo, like you said, they have checked out. Can we just get some insight into what drivers are on what tyres? Not worrying about fuel and wear at the moment, but what have we got?
Everybody is on the same tyre.
Which is?
Everyone is on a racing medium.
Roger that. Now Sneaky Stevo has picked up a half-second penalty, so this could hand things over to Morgan Davies, which it will. Just goes streaming on by as the permanently burn spot is on the fastest part of the track, which not only kills your time on that lap, but also kills your time for the next lap as well. Oh, Morgan's all sorts of sideways coming through turn 1. That lets Sneaky Steve-O get right back up on the back of him.
Poor Hodes, who had managed to get himself off last place because he didn't get to do a quali. He, for some reason, got a penalty, but he's also nearly 5 seconds behind D. Reed, who I think something must have happened to Rocky as well, because he's it's a bit behind. He's 3 seconds behind Killer. Just wondering if there's been some contact there somewhere. And Archangel, who is filling in tonight, is currently running in 10th place from Division 4.
D. Reed ran a 156 or 158 on that second lap compared to Killer, who ran a 152.
Yeah, I think something's gone on there.
A little bit slow there from those two boys. Might have been a bit of contact. We're not sure, so we'll leave that one alone, I think. Checking back in with Boy Bagum. He's on the back of a little bit of a freight train here. He's in P8, and he's got Boy Bagum in front of him, Big J, Artsy, then Ricky Bobby. They're all running line astern here. Possibly an intentional strategy to try and save a little bit of fuel in the long run. If you know you don't quite have the outright pace to overtake the bloke in front of you, just sit behind him, jump in the pits. Always a viable option.
Now, Datsun has gone back to about where he was 1.5. He's about 1.5 seconds behind Sneaky Steve-O, so he's brought it back a little bit. But interestingly, Lenosis is also 1.5, and then there's 1.3 back to Ricky Bobby. So the front sort of four, Lenosis is 3.5 seconds off Morgan Davies, who's leading. But yeah, they're sort of still keeping there, but none of those guys are getting a... the only one that's getting a bit of air help is Sneaky Steve-O, who's all over the back of Morgan Davies.
I wonder if Sneaky Steve-O is going to be looking to make an overtake in this stint, or whether he's just content to sit behind Morgan for now and do his overtaking in the pit stop, because he's only half a second behind. But with enough of fuel save, you can easily, you know, make a jump of 2 seconds.
Yeah, makes me just going through the fuel for a bit of a look. There is some slight differences already between some of the cars. Might not seem a lot, but
we'll check in a couple of laps for the APR tire and fuel update and get a more detailed look at that one. So these top two have kind of checked out a little bit. That gap back to Dadson's getting up around the 2 second mark. I'm kind of curious as to who could be running what kind of strategy here. Because I would have thought if the top two guys were running a two-stop, well, running the medium compound first is an interesting choice. But based off the tyre, oh, there we go, Artsy's into the pits, end of lap 4. So it's entirely possible he could be going for a two-stop strategy as well.
Yeah.
So 4 stops on the mediums, and then 2 11-lap stints on the softs is viable in the McLaren, can confirm.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the guys at the front might have been pulling away for a two-stop, but yeah, I don't know. They might not be at all.
Lenosis has got a bit of no man's land.
Certainly not.
Ricky Bobby's still leading the freight train in P5. Boiber Gums jumped up a couple of spots up to P6, managing to get his way past Big J and Tim Durags. The Black Rose driver on a little bit of a charge. He's 6/10 up on his best lap as well. Current fastest lap held by Morgan Davies with a 1:48.27, which is pretty impressive considering that... actually, no, I think he might have set that one while he was in Steve-O's slipstream. Not sure. Either way, still bloody quick for a race lap.
Yeah, I think all these top guys are actually short shifting, so I'm pretty sure they're all going for a one-stop. Just surprised me how much they pulled out in that first few laps, to be that's all.
It was looking a little bit ominous for a lap and a half there.
Boy become all over the back of Ricky Bobby. Tim DeRags heading for a bit of a sniff as well.
Definitely. Well, they're all fanning out into turn one, giving each other space. Boy Bagum keeping an eye on his mirrors. I think he's well aware of that Ferrari there. Goes defensive into turn four. It's hard to not be aware of a Ferrari behind you because those things are bloody loud.
Yeah, Big J's pulled himself into there as well. Bit of a gap back to Nico. Archangel's still running in.
I think there's been a bit of an incident up there with... Oh, no, sorry. I think that was a little bit of lag going on there. I just thought there was... Ooh. There's a little bit of lag going on with the Black Rose Porsche and Boy Bagum.
Yeah.
It looked like there was a rear-end incident in the infield, but just something to keep an eye on there for Boy Bagum. Car seems fairly stable right now, but that was nearly terrifying. And if it's terrifying for us here in the comms box watching, it must be, well, not so great for if you're on track behind him. And we've just had it fired into the YouTube chat by, I believe, the Jamco team owner himself. Can confirm Jamco car is not on a two-stop.
Oh, look at that, Morgan, David, and Steve-O again. Oof. You're lucky to fit a feather between the two of them at times.
They're doing a bloody great job of staying so tight together, although it really looks like Steve-O wants to get past.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, I think Morgan Davies might have a little bit of lag as well. He looks a little bit jumpy. And if you sort of stick behind someone like that, you've really got to pick your moment.
100%. Just riding on board with Steve-O right now, right underneath the rear wing of that Black Rose Porsche. The Porsche just getting away a little bit through the infield section.
Datsun doing a great job in third spot.
100%. He has
holding
lost,
off Mr. Quick Lenosis.
He has lost a little bit of ground to the two in front of him. That gap's now at 3.5 seconds. But here we go. That gap between Morgan and Steve-O is coming down right in front of our eyes. Can't quite get it done. Lifts off early before the bus stop. Coasts it through. Gets a beautiful exit. Morgan does as well. Does he go for a move? No, I don't think he's going to go for a move, so this might be a good time to go to our APR fuel and tire and fuel update.
I was about to suggest the same thing. Now, we're at the end of lap 7, so if these guys are going for a one-stop, Morgan Davies is just a whisker under half a tank. I'm not going to worry too much about the tyres because the mediums, you can run these quite a lot on this. Sneaky Steve-O, he has a little bit more fuel. I'd say maybe another 4 to 5 litres over the top of Morgan Davey. Datsun has got probably the same as Morgan Davey, just under half a tank. Lenosis has a little bit less, I should say, than Datsun. He's probably got a couple of litres less. Ricky Bobby's got less again. Boy Begum, he's pretty much near smack on half a tank. Big J, just under half, similar to Dadson. Tim Durags, he's only barely just under half a tank. Danico, yeah, he's probably got about 47%. D Reed, similar. Killer on the loose, similar. Hodes, also similar. Under RTI, he pitted. So he yeah.
Is he on the racing softs now?
Angel has now got. Yes, he is, and so is Archangel. He's pitted as well. I did notice that he had by far the worst fuel. So yeah, I think part of, not trying to take anything away, because he was doing a great job, especially coming up from Div 4, but I think he was pushing it pretty hard because he had by far the most fuel usage, so definitely go on that 2-stop.
That's understandable given he's in a McLaren and that thing and saving fuel. No, it doesn't. But Artie, being on the softs, does have the fastest lap now with a 147.232. I dare say we'll see that come down a little bit later, but if he's going to be running the 2-stop, that is definitely a viable option for picking up the extra point for the fastest lap. So that concludes our APR tyre and fuel
doing the right thing.
Proudly brought to you by APR Automotive. You are in safe hands. Radio, sorry, Grohl, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sneaky Steve-O, even though he is in a Ferrari, which seems to be pretty damn good on fuel, he's sitting behind Morgan Davey, and he is saving that fuel. So the fuel difference between him and Morgan Davies, there is a good few leaders in it. He's out of the top 3, top 4, top 5, probably top 5. You've got to get back to Boybegum before you have anyone anywhere near close to what Sneaky Steve-O's got. He's got definite fuel advantage. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't go to at least. Morgan Davies might make it to 14, but I'm sure Sneaky Steve-O will make it to 14.
Now, having seen what happened to his teammate last week, I can't help but wonder whether Sneaky Steve-O might want to try and push just an extra lap out of the medium tyres, out of the fuel tank of that Ferrari, just to take that one lap off the tyre usage on the racing softs, or whether he's choosing to just do an even 13-13 split.
Yeah, I know in the little pug, the last couple of laps, you probably ended up with about 10% tyre maybe at the end. So if you can take one lap off that can make quite a bit of difference.
Dadson doing a brilliant job here.
Strong.
Yep.
He's pulled out to 3.9 on. The nose has got a half-second penalty as well, which is going to really that'll let Boybegum go past, and possibly Ricky Bobby and Big J will be right on him as well.
Boybegum having a brilliant drive here, moving himself up into P5 and soon to be P4 with that penalty from Lenosis.
He's got great fuel. Anyone around him has got nowhere near the amount of fuel that Boybegum has either. Tyre life on all the cars that are running mediums is also very similar as well. There's not really anything in it.
Okay, just keeping an eye on Lenosis here, just before the bus stop, and then he'll be coming into that penalty burn zone. Yep. Keep an eye on how many positions he drops. Now the skies here at Daytona are looking a little bit cloudy at the moment, so that's going to bring the track temperature down, which could help these guys extend their tyre life. And as I say that, the sun comes out, so
yeah.
Hey, what do I know?
The wind is slightly starting to push towards the back straight as well, so
Boybegum does get past Lenosis, but Lenosis does hold P5 over Ricky Bobby. Yeah, that
I
wind
wonder
has
what happened to Ricky Bobby.
that wind has shifted from a northwesterly to just a bit more of a southwesterly, I'd say.
Yeah, Dadson's really sitting out there in no man's land, and then you got like this pack of 5, and then all the way sort of back to the Nico sitting by himself.
So Morgan and Steve-O are just still sitting line astern. Dadson's still in a bit of no man's land, but having a great race. I don't think he'll be complaining about being all by himself. Boy Bagum with a brilliant drive so far into P4.
It's 4 seconds off Dadson, so, but in saying that, he's probably going to pick up a couple of seconds on fuel. I wouldn't be surprised if Boy Bagum does 14 laps as well, because the Porsche can be a little bit notorious on those softs as well. So.
Big J also having a fairly solid drive in P7 at the moment. He's not far off the back of Ricky Bobby. He's well within the slipstream, so he could just be saving a healthy amount of fuel and getting ready for the racing soft stint. Tim Durags just a couple of tenths behind him.
I tell you what, Sneaky Steve-O, he's been sitting lap after lap, sometimes within 1 or 2 tenths off Morgan Davies. He hasn't picked up a penalty or anything, and it's like quite often you'll see people when they're sitting on someone, you lose that bit of downdraft, especially on the front end. It's quite easy to pick yourself up a penalty or just get sort of excessive front tyre wear as well. But doing a great job. Bit of a look back down in the field. Ricky Bobby, Big J's all over the back of Ricky Bobby and Tim Durags. These guys are still going at it. It's going to be interesting to see if the fuel, how much the fuel comes into play. Because I think, well, what happened to Boy Bagum? He's dropped back behind Lenosis.
Ooh, interesting. I have not noticed what's going on there. He's been circulating in the... Well, his lap times have been about the same.
Yeah, he got a 49.6 from the last one, and whereas Lenosis got a 48.7. So we might have missed Boy Bagum might have picked up a penalty or something as well.
I am suspecting that might be the case. A half-second penalty would be enough to drop him back that amount on track, so that would be my guess.
Yeah, because that spot where you do pay for the penalty, you've got the foot flat to the floor, 6th gear, and you are dropping back to 5th to sort of get going again. So you do lose quite a bit of time on that straight.
I like how we call it a straight when it's a really long curve.
Yeah, well.
We're just going to stick with straight. Don't care. Right, so Morgan Davies still leading the way as we are on lap 13. We are getting to that crucial point where do they go for the undercut? Do you go for the overcut? What do you do? I guess that can all depend entirely on what your original plan is and the condition of your car at that point in time as well, which I would imagine at this point, on lap 13, I don't think in terms of tyres, being that they're all but 2 of our drivers are on the racing medium, I don't think the tyre wear will be a factor. It'll be, am I going to run out of fuel or not?
Well, Morgan Davies has just hit the fuel line, so I'm pretty sure he could do another lap. Sneaky Steve-O could definitely do another lap. I got a feeling Datsun will be in. Lenosis, I think, will definitely be in. Boy Bagum, I reckon, will go around again. Ricky Bobby will be in.
Sorry, Sneaky Steve-O's just pulled to the outside here, coming around the final embankment. I don't think he'll be going into the pits because that's a brave move if he wants to do that. Can he get past? Oh, there's some touching. So both drivers, both Morgan and Steve-O, don't go into the pits, but Morgan sends it down the inside at turn 1. Oh, there's been a little contact. There's been a little bit of touching, still side by side through turns 2 and 3. Oh, that was a big touch.
Oh,
there was a...
Did he touch?
There was a little bit of... wide? There was a little bit of hip and shouldering through that turn 2-3 chicane, and I think that might have been what put Steve-O out onto the grass. Let's see if we can catch that on our LJ Media action replay, or whether I'm rusty.
Are you looking for that? Datsun, Lenosis, Ricky Bobby, D'Amico, D. Reed, Killer on the loose, all into the pits and home.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I have missed that.
I did see a little bit of contact, and they were both sort of had a bit of room, and it looked like there was a little bit of contact, but then I didn't actually see any, not saying there wasn't, but I couldn't actually see any contact at the point that Sneaky Steve-O, but I could have been just at the wrong angle from the view that I've got as well.
It did look rather tight through turns 2 and 3, so...
Sneaky Steve-O has just gone straight past Morgan Davey, and I don't know whether Morgan's given it back.
Maybe he has, or maybe he's incredibly fuel compromised.
I don't know, he's just revving the absolute ringer out of it at the moment, so...
Okay, that might have been a redress for earlier in the lap. But either way, I imagine we'll see both drivers in this lap, as we do. Both drivers into the pits. Checking back with Boy Bagum, currently P3. What does he do? He's into the pits. Big J with Tim Durags very closely in behind. Both of those boys into the pits as well. Now we'll check in on Artsy, as we know he's already pitted. He's been and done. He pitted 10 laps ago at the end of lap 4. So
he's on a set of softs, and his back right tyre, he's probably got maybe 15%, and his fuel, I'd say at the end of the next lap he will
I'd say he's going to be in at the end of this lap, running 11 laps. So 2 11-lap stints. So you've got fuel going in the car of Sneaky Steve-O at the moment. So we'll see how much of a gap Artsy has managed to pull out on Sneaky Steve-O, running the alternate strategy here.
I gotta say though, I am a fan of Thunder Artsy's livery. I like the orange and the black and the little sort of, almost like lightning bolt sort of, like streaks through the orange.
Rightio, so Morgan Davies comes out of the pits in front of Sneaky Steve-O to the tune of 1.5 seconds. So a little bit of a fuel game there. But the gap between Artsy and Morgan is 25 seconds. So that is a huge gap. But bear in mind, we'll probably see Artsy in at the end of this lap. So he'll be going onto the soft tyres as well, with enough fuel to get to the end and be able to go absolutely hell for leather. So we'll see how he where he comes out of the pits in terms of traffic.
I'm gonna tell some tales here, because Morgan Davey looks like he might have only went to about 85 litres, whereas Sneaky Steve-O I think has gone a full tank. And Morgan Davies, doesn't look like he's hanging about. He's actually pushing that car pretty hard, especially in the rev range. I know he's got one less. They've got one less lap because they went out to 14 laps. But
just noticing as well, Boy Bagum has managed to jump Datsun in the pits. So Boy Bagum up into P4, P3 potentially, as we've now got Artsy in the pits with absolutely zero fuel in the tank. So Boy Bagum managing to make up a spot in the pits with potential fuel save there.
Well, Boy, he has, but he's also pretty low in the fuel. Like, obviously he saved the most out of pretty much everyone on that first stint, but he's also come out with, he's only just got over 3/4 of a tank at the moment, whereas Dadson behind him has got a good 80-85% fuel still.
3/4 of a tank to do half the race distance. That's
Yeah, he's got a little bit
ambitious.
over 3/4.
That's
He's
ambitious.
got to do one less lap than what they did on the stint, and he did have quite a fair bit of fuel. Actually, he might have went 15 laps, did he?
Boy, Bagul? No, he did 14 laps.
Okay. So he can obviously save the fuel. Well, he thinks he can save the fuel, but I think Dadson's actually catching back up to him, so...
I think he is as well. That gap's down to well under a second now. Dadson is back in the slipstream range. There is a massive gap between Dadson and Lenosis. That is 6.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Big J's managed to jump up in front of Ricky Bobby as well as Tim Durags, who is right on the back of Big J at the moment. So I think Tim Durags could be looking to make his way past as they go line astern through the bus stop. Big J runs a little bit wide there. Does he pick up an invoice? Nope, got away with it. He'll be very happy with that outcome, I would imagine. As a penalty at this point would be absolutely horrific and would drop him right behind Tim Durags and into the clutches of Ricky Bobby and Danico at the moment, who's having a brilliant race at the moment, coming up into 9th position after starting back of the grid tonight. So bloody fantastic effort so far from Danico, as Archangel is into the pits at the end of lap 17.
It's really making me wonder whether Morgan Davies has actually shorted himself a little bit on fuel. A couple of them might have done. What do I know? These are the guys that are leading a division up from me, so obviously they know better what they're doing than I do. It looks like a few of them have, you know, I know most of them did 1 lap less, 1 lap more, so
and
they can obviously save the fuel, but...
And on the other hand, it's fuel consumption and Morgan Davey in the same sentence. It can go either way. So
Well,
just hear
the
Sneaky
smart
Steve-O
move
there.
would be to...
Just hearing Sneaky Steve-O there on and off the throttle going into the bus stop.
Yeah. I sort of would have thought with that a little bit less fuel, Morgan might drop behind Sneaky Steve-O and save a bit, because it's easy for Steve-O to save fuel sitting right behind him. Like, he did that in the first stint, but he's got plenty of fuel compared to Morgan Davies. If he wants to fight Sneaky Steve-O towards the end of the race, I don't know, he might be a little bit fuel compromised.
Well, I reckon Sneaky Steve-O was just giving Morgan a bit of a bump draft there on the run down to the finish line before Steve-O pulled out of the slipstream and ran around the outside at turn 1. So maybe a little bit of mind games going on here from the Jamco Ferrari. So they've got a very healthy gap back to Boy Bagum to the tune of over 10 seconds now, back to P3. So Boy Bagum having a brilliant race. He's gotten past Dadson. He's moved up into 3rd. He's on the podium.
Dadson's all over him, and Dadson has a lot better fuel. Boy Bagum's going to have 1 lap pressure tyres, so...
It's definitely a battle here for the last step on the podium. There's a 7.5 second gap back to Lenosis in P5 at the moment, but the fact that he has not fallen asleep behind the wheel at this stage is truly amazing after being up for at least the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Big J, P6, still under pressure from Tim Durags. A little bit of a gap back to Ricky Bobby in P8, 2.5. Ricky Bobby's got Danico still in tow. Although Danico, does he? No, Oh, he has a look down the inside. Oh, they're going side by side through the bus stop. That's brave. Danico around the outside through the bus stop. Oh my goodness. That was a brilliant move. I think we're going to have to take another look at that again, because that was absolutely brilliant. Very brave, and also requires a consenting dance partner.
Yeah.
You've got to have someone who knows what you're doing, so has a look, thinks about it, and then just sends it round the outside, makes it stick, doesn't run wide. Fantastic move there from the Hooncorp driver around the outside of the APR McLaren through the bus stop. Usually an overtaking manoeuvre there only ends one way, and it's not well. But Danico manages to break the trend there and moves up into P8. So checking back in up the front, there's a side-by-side battle coming out of the infield and onto the embankment between Steve-O and Morgan. Morgan just coming out ahead of that in that battle for now, but I think now is the point in time where Steve-O really wants to get past. They're side-by-side coming into the braking zone for the bus stop. Who's got the biggest set of brass ones? Steve-O makes it stick. Nobody gets a penalty. Morgan ducks out side by side again. This is absolutely brilliant racing with these two. But I think Steve-O might just have the outright speed to get this done. But he's going to have to be very
Morgan's
defensive here.
back.
He's going to have to be very defensive here coming into turn one. Seven laps to go.
Wow, that's brave.
Around the outside of turn one. Yep, that's not what I would do, Morgan, but you know better than I do, I guess. So Sneaky Steve-O manages to make the move stick and hold on to it for now as we start lap 20 of 26.
I don't think Morgan's going to be able to match him for fuel. It's not. He's not being shy with the fuel, but yeah, I don't know. I suppose what have we got? 7 and 6.5 laps to go. We've got just under half a tank. Yeah, he might be all right.
How much difference in fuel is there between these two guys? Like 5%, 7%?
Yeah, maybe 8 to 10% or something. 8% maybe.
Okay, that's a big difference.
I wish we had a little. I wish we had a little. Yeah, there would be a good. There'd be a lap. It's a little bit hard to tell on the fuel gauge what sort of. But yeah, there probably would be a lap.
So Sneaky Steve-O could afford to absolutely drop the hammer and keep the foot to the floor, whereas Morgan might have to be a little more careful.
And Tim DeRags has finally got past Big J. I think he was being held up just a little bit. Got to shout out Big J though. He did win Division 3 last season, and he's moved up into Div 2. And I'm pretty sure he's up there, maybe 6th or something in the championship for this season. So he's done well to move up a division and be sitting easily up in the top half of Div 2, and he's given Tim DeRags a bit of a run for his money as well, and Tim's no slouch, especially in that Ferrari.
He's 100% holding his own, more than holding his own this season.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I think Tim DeRags was behind Big J a couple of laps ago, so...
He was, yeah, I was watching him. He looked like he looked a little bit like he was being held up, but you know what it's like when someone's in their slipstream. It can look like they're being held up a little bit, but you know, it's just because they're in that slip that they're getting a little bit of an easier run.
Yeah, they're getting that little bit of a speed boost.
Yeah. Morgan's hanging with Sneaky Steve-O still. He's not being shy on that fuel. Oh, right up on him. He's going for it before the bus stop. Wow.
this battle is definitely not over just yet, ladies and gentlemen. Still
I
got
think I'm going to have to eat
5
my
laps to go.
words. I think I'm going to have to eat my words on this. That he might be fuel compromised because he obviously knows a lot more than me about racing, and he seems to know what he's doing. So,
Oh, Sneaky Steve-O does have the fastest lap at the moment with a 146.450, and now he's the one taking the outside line into turn 1.
and people reckon the Ferrari doesn't have any top end speed. Bullshit. keeping up with a Porsche, passing a Porsche down along these. Well, I'm going to say straights again when you're probably going to say it's a curve, but fair enough.
Not quite 9 o'clock, but I will allow the BS because I'm calling it too.
Yeah.
No top end speed
people have got to
by
remember.
foot.
Yeah, I think what we got to remember sometimes too that the bop and everything that we run, it actually changes for each track, and so the weights and the horsepower for the cars actually can vary quite a little bit for each track. And then I think there's also, correct me if I'm wrong, a low and mid-range sort of check, and on some tracks, and then some tracks it's a mid and high speed.
Mid speed and high speed. Yeah, it's all too confusing for me to keep up with, to be honest.
Yeah, so saying like you could put 4 cars on a track and say, oh yeah, one's definitely faster in a straight line. But under bop, you could go to the next track, and that car might be the slowest out of the 4. So
100%. The bop we ran under Red Bull Ring is going to be different to what we're going to be running at Spa next round. So
yeah,
I guess the performance of the cars will adjust accordingly. So far, into lap 22, Sneaky Steve-O is managing to hold on to the race lead for now. That gap back to Boy Bagum in P3 has extended out to 14 seconds, but he's not alone. He has still got Dadson for company, who is still there or thereabouts, 0.6 of a second back, so Boy Bagum is definitely not out of the woods and free to celebrate a spot on the podium just yet, not if Dadson has anything to say about it.
no, Boy Bagum has still got a little bit less fuel than Dadson, but I don't think at this point it's going to be an issue for him.
And
But he
Lenosis
does have better tyres.
Lenosis is in P5 and he has Tim Durags and Big J for company now, as they have closed up to within half a second. So Lenosis may find himself in a little bit of trouble here in the late stages of the race. Might find himself go from P5 to P7 if he's not careful.
Rags has got a lot more fuel than those two guys as well.
And Danico is managing to hold his own over Ricky Bobby as well in P8 at the moment. Ricky Bobby in P9. Don't think the two-stop strategy is working out particularly well for Artsy, who's currently in P10. And I'm seeing a yellow flag warning somewhere in the track.
Well, Ricky Bobby just went up the inside of Danico just after you stopped talking about him and gave him a little bit of a bump, but he did stop and redress straight away, so...
Okie dokie.
Could have been from that.
Right, so one pass that has gone down is Morgan Davies has decided, I'm going to go past Sneaky Steve-O again. I want to be out in front. Bugger the fuel save. So end of lap 23, 3 laps to go. Morgan Davies currently in front to the tune of 4.5 tenths. Call it half a second. And making it out to 7 tenths very, very quickly through turn 1. Just that Porsche getting an absolutely brilliant run through the first turn. Steve-O closing back up again through the first of the infield horseshoes.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Tim Durags is all over Lenosis. Oh, he's gone past, I think. He has. And I think Big J's looking to line Lenosis up next.
He's definitely looking very racy here through the first of the horseshoes.
Yeah, I reckon Paul Lenosis is probably feeling pretty damn at the end of his end of his I don't know what you'd call it, strength, or he's probably got toothpicks holding his eyes up or something.
100%. Oops, Sneaky Steve-O has managed to make his way back into the lead through the embankment part, or the first part of the embankment section.
We had $1 for every time.
If we had $1 for every time these two traded places, yeah, we'd have enough money to we'd have enough money to refill the bar fridge here in the comms box.
Tap water maybe, but yeah. But there's been some. They're putting on a show, that's for sure.
So 2 laps
to go. It's good to see 2 different cars.
2 laps to go. Sneaky Steve-O is out to around about 9/10 of a lead. So if he can put in a blistering first part of the infield here, he might just be able to break the slipstream for Morgan as he goes on to the embankment section of the track later in the lap. So he's out to a second. So could Morgan be slightly compromised for fuel, or is this just a Sneaky Steve-O turning on the afterburners kind of scenario?
Yeah, well, the fuel light's flashing for Morgan Davies.
Oh, with 2 laps to go, that is definitely not good news.
No, whereas Sneaky Steve-O, he's got a good 1/8 of a tank. He's got plenty of fuel. So maybe
that gap is now out to nearly 2 seconds. So I think Morgan has done the math and realised, bugger it, I'm not going to make it home if I keep going. Yeah. So I think that might just be the race run and done there. Yep. He's got a healthy margin back to his teammate in P3.
He does.
So he can afford to lift off, but that's going to be very painful for him to watch first place slip away like that. Boy Bagumd has a 1.5 second gap back to Dadson, so he should be able to hold on here for a double Black Rose podium. Tim Durags, P5, has managed to skip away a bit from Big J, who has also, like you said earlier, got past Lenosis. He is in P7 now, unfortunately. I think something's happened to Ricky Bobby late here in the race, because Danico's in P8, 4 seconds over the top of Artsy now in P9, and Ricky Bobby's dropped back to 10th. His last 2 laps were a 1:53 and a 1:58, so
wow.
Things have not gone well for Ricky Bobby on laps 23 and 24. Possibly penalties, possibly some off-track excursions.
Yeah, he's normally usually up towards the pointy end, isn't he?
He's there or thereabouts, but hey, maybe Daytona's just not sitting well for him in terms of his comfort zone.
Yeah, we are on the final lap, and Sneaky Steve-O is now 4.6 seconds ahead of Morgan Davies. Morgan Davies, he's gonna...
I think Steve-O's well and truly got this comfortably in the bag.
Yeah, I sort of hate being right about Morgan Davies being a little bit shy on fuel, to be honest.
I think that slight short filling in the pit stop just came back to bite him. If it was a 25 lap race, he was looking good, but unfortunately it is a 26 lap race as Sneaky Steve-O comes up to the bus stop for the final time. Slots it through nice and smoothly with a beautiful run on to the final banking turn here at Daytona. And I'm pretty sure I can hear the very happy cheers of his team owner from pit lane.
I think Morgan is running on fumes.
As Sneaky Steve-O approaches the line to take the win for Jamco Racing here at Daytona, Category 2B.
Well done.
And will he run out of fuel? Will he not?
I think he's got Boy Become closing.
Boy Become managed to make it back within 5 seconds, but that will be a very healthy.
Back to 0.6.
Be a very healthy haul of team points there for the Black Rose boys, finishing 2 and 3. Dadson bringing home P4, Big J P5, Lenosis P6, Tinderags for Jamco P7, Danico, after starting from the back of the grid, is finishing P8 for Hooncorp. Thunder Artsy P9 on the two-stop strategy. Ricky Bobby bringing home P10 for APR, closely followed by Demo Reed for Doghouse. I think Killer is out of fuel, broken, putting along.
Yeah, he's out of fuel, and Hodes is going to pick up a spot by the look of it.
Oh,
There goes Hodes. Or is he going to give him a push back to the pit? Going to give him a push.
Yep. There we go. There's some sportsmanship there from the Hooncorp driver. Says, nah, mate, I don't want that P12. You have it. Love to see it. Gives Killer a little bit of a nudge home. So Lightning brings home P12. Ho to Hooncorp bringing home P13. And with a little bit of look at me time in P14 is Archangel filling in for team points for Symmetry Motorsports. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our category to be brought to you by Boxer Beauty. Run and done. So, let's have a little bit of a recap of those race results. As we skip past that, and we will... There we go. So thanks to Adelaide Ceramic Coatings, our race results. Sneaky Stevo in first position with the fastest lap, so picks up those critical bonus points there. Brings home the top step on the podium, but it is a remainder of the podium lockout for Black Rose in the form of Morgan Davies in P2 and Boy Bagum in P3. Then we've got a absolutely brilliant drive from Dadson to bring home a P4. P5 we've got Big J for Lightning Motorsport, P6 Lenosis for APR Motorsport, P7 for Tinderags for Jamco Racing, P8 for Danico, probably another contender for driver of the day there after starting from the back of the grid. And we've got P9, the two-stopper for Mr. Arty for Thunder Motorsport, P10 Ricky Bobby for APR, P11 D Reed for Doghouse, P12 Killer filling in for stickers for Lightning Motorsport, P13 with the Sportsmanship Award for pushing Killer home over the line is Hodes for Hooncorp, and rounding out our grid tonight for the team's points is Archangel for Symmetry Motorsports. So, Driver of the Day nominations, pop them in the chat. There's a couple of contenders here tonight with, I guess, Sneaky Stevo's drive. You've got Hodes with the sportsmanship. You've got Danico with his top 10 finish after starting at the back of the grid. Be Dadson finishing P4. There's plenty of options here for Driver of the Day. What are your thoughts, Grovel?
Well, look, it was good to see Sneaky Stevo get that win, and Morgan Davies had a hell of a race as well. He just that bit of fuel compromised at the end, and yeah, it was really good to see Hodes push the Killer over the line at the end. So shout out to all them guys. But I'm going to have to give mine to Boy Begum. I think he's a bit of a strategy there. He sort of sat back, saved that extra fuel, went to lap 14. I know I said at the start the Porsches are going to be fast here and the Ferraris, but yeah, I think he just played his cards really well, and at the end, that last stint just sort of brought him home, you know. So that's, yeah, I'm going to have to go Boy Begum.
Righto, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for Dadson as our driver of the day. Had an absolutely solid drive. Brilliant qualifying session, got himself into P2. Unfortunately, dropped back a little bit, dropped back 2 spots, but to still bring that little Peugeot home in P4 against the might of the Porsches and the Ferrari and the McLarens, who just do have that top end advantage over the little Peugeot. I think that's a commendable effort. Checking in with the chat, we've got, well, driver of the day, Boy Bagum from Rudsey, no bias at all, not from the Black Rose drivers, none at all. Another driver of the day, Boy Bagum from Debrev. Morgan's jumping in the chat, wouldn't be an S1 race without me having fuel problems. Many seasons, nothing changes, Morgan. Mr. Robert Rice throws in driver of the day, Dadson. Another nomination for driver of the day, Boy Bagum, but from Morgan, so again, no bias, I would say. Probably looking like Boy Bagum's going to take it out though. He's got the majority of the votes, so well done, Boy Bagum. You're our driver of the day for Cat 2B Daytona. Nice work. Get to step on the podium as well, so all in all, a pretty decent race weekend for you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to very shortly take a short intermission, so feel free to grab a toilet break, grab a refill of your drink, grab some snacks, and get ready for the extravaganza that is a Category 1A here at Daytona, the fastest of the fast. So we can see what these people are capable of. Just like to say thank you very much, Mr. Growell, for being our race director tonight, stepping in at short notice as well, so always appreciated.
No problem at all. I'm just having a bit of a look. I might actually jump in the chat just to see. I think there might be a little bit of an issue trying to get another driver in again. So I'll just jump over there and see if they want to try.
That is something that we shall look into in the intermission. So we'll jump to that now, and ladies and gentlemen, we shall see you again in just a few minutes. Don't go too far.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We are here tonight for some Category 1 racing action around the Palisades Village.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning all. And this is just the beginning, I need a big change, only feels like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1.
He only goes second 2! Oh my goodness!
Geesh went wide.
Oh, he's run wide and goes down!
Oh my!
Oh no! No! You can't do that!
You see that steering wheel? Hold back there.
Bunty is somehow keeping it on the track surface! It's a spectacular drive, and he will take his first win in the top flight of Sector 1.
And we are back here at Sector 1 Comms Box. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking with us during that intermission. I hope you are freshly reloaded with drinks and snacks and are ready to watch the racing action going on here tonight for Category 1A, proudly brought to you by APR Automotive. Joining me now in the Comms Box is the team owner for Kraken Esports himself, Mr. Bumcrack. How are we this evening?
Very well, thank you, mate. Looking forward to see how much more time these guys can put on the track than I could even dream of.
100%. It was kind of scary seeing the time difference in lap times between myself and the guys in 1B. So
Yes, I saw that.
it's quite humbling when you think, yeah, I'm doing really well, I'm really quick, and then you see these guys and it's just like, right, okay, I've got some work to do. But that's all right. I'm quite happy with where I'm at, so I can deal with that. So we'll skip the track map because we've already had a look at that, and we did see in the Category 1B race that only 2 drivers took on the 2-stop strategy. Both of them driving the McLarens, and I think RC just got inside the top 10, so I think it's fair to say that the 2-stop strategy is probably not the viable option, so it might just be a case of everybody's running the 1-stop, and who can make it work the best tonight, I think, might be the key element. So we'll just take a look at the point standings at the moment. So leading the way in Category 1A for CP Motorsports is Mr. Geesh on 232 points, which is an absolutely commanding lead at the moment at this stage. With 2 rounds to go, it's fair to say he has more than one hand on the trophy for the season. But to be determined who's finishing where a little bit further down the standings is still to be determined, because we've got Mr. GTR for Blacklight Motorsport on 176 points, just in front of your boy Young Wacky in the Kraken Esports Ferrari on 174 points. So tonight's result could be a very crucial in the point standings for those two drivers. We've got fourth at the moment is Mountain Goat for Baroque 05 Sim Racing on 164 points, but unfortunately for him, he was a little bit of a naughty boy last round at Red Bull Ring, and the stewards have given him a 1 race ban for I believe it was for a combination of multiple incidents, not one giant horrific one. I'm not sure if that makes it any better, but either way, unfortunately, Goaty does have the week off. And in 5th at the moment, possible that he will be overtaking his teammate in the point standing, is Foss for BSR. And we've got a Nif for CP Motorsports currently in 6th on 134 points, but he is absent tonight, and we do have CP's invitational driver in the form of Pav stepping in for him, so I'm keen to see how he holds up in his first main game drive. Then we've got P7 is Scooter at 82 for Doghouse Motorsport on 133 points. Then Tombo for Blacklight on 121, just in front of Slapper's Mate for the Dadson Racing Team on 119 points. Then we have Heafy for Thunder Motorsport on 112. Your other driver, Mr. Bumcrack, Dale Teeks, on 104, equal with E-Bulk from Symmetry Motorsports. So tonight's result will determine who's the a higher placed driver from those two. Also absent tonight for Zero Turn Motorsport will be Captain Muffin. I believe he is completely and utterly knackered after participating in the 24-hour go-kart race at Eastern Creek this weekend. So it's probably fair to say that old Muffin is well asleep by now. And then rounding out our grid tonight is the team owner for Zero Turn Motorsport in the form of Mr. Diswood. So keen to see what he can bring to the table tonight. And it looks like all of our drivers are pretty much ready to go for qualifying. So what do you say we get the big button?
That's a fantastic idea.
We'll get the big button pressed, and we shall get qualifying underway. All right, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, thank you for sticking with us. It's a pleasure to have your company. Please fire in the chat with your predictions for who is going to take out pole position here at Daytona for Category 1A.
It's been I've been watching a little bit of the practicing there, and the usual suspects seem to be at the top of the table. Although the new guy, Pav, seems to be quite fast as well. Very looking forward to seeing how he goes.
Okay, so Pav might just be able to throw a spanner into the works here tonight, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Might make it interesting, that's for sure.
Now we do have a couple of retro liveries on the cars here tonight.
Not as many as we should, though.
Well, look, we all know retro liveries and CP Motorsports go together in the same sentence about as well as fuel saving and Morgan Davies. So,
Yes, that's correct.
So we could probably leave that one alone. Can also confirm that retro is not on the APR cars, probably for a couple of reasons. Mainly the fact that we forgot about it could be a factor. But we do have two cars with retro liveries on screen at the moment in the form of Heafy for Thunder Esports in that beautiful orange and black McLaren, and Diswood in the retro racing Porsche inspired livery on that RSR. I cannot for the life of me name the model of Porsche that he has borrowed it from, but I'm sure there will be some racing anorak in the chat that will fire in and tell me exactly. Ghost, this is where you step up and tell me which model of Porsche that it was, if you would be so kind. But running out on the track at the moment, first on track is your boy Young Wakey. Now, is this a retro livery or just a tweak?
Yeah, no, it was a retro livery done from a couple of seasons ago, but it was especially adapted to the Ferrari for a Wakey race that season, special Motorsport Australia event. So
right,
resurrected for the young fella. Yeah.
Nice. So then we've got Heafy currently on track, as mentioned, in that beautiful orange and black, slightly different orange to his team owner's one, although that could just be the lighting. And of course we've got Diswood in the zero-turn Porsche, and it looks like the Blacklight cars and the Thunder Motorsport cars have decided to swap colours this round, as the Blacklight cars are running a beautiful pink and black livery, which
looks good too.
I've got to say, it's quite pretty, as both Blacklight drivers are running line astern. Tombo is a little bit further back from GTR than he might like to be to take advantage of the slipstream, but he's still there or thereabouts. And just checking in with there we go. I'm looking at, I was wondering who the light blue Porsche was on track in front of Pav, but it's Foss in the BSR retro livery of a beautiful pale blue. I'm going to be honest and say I have absolutely no idea what model of real-life car that this is based off, or if it is based off a real-life car. Either way,
it's very late 80s though.
With that colour blue, I do feel like it either needs some orange or some hot pink, but
everything needs orange.
Most things, not everything. But either way, Young Wacky gets the ball rolling and is quickly smacked off the top of the grid by GTR, who drops a 145.6, if you don't mind.
Really?
And not that far behind, in clean air I might add, is Diswood with a 145.8, so he's 3.5 tenths down on GTR. But GTR is behind Diswood on track, so possible slipstream assistance there. Geesh drops himself into P3. Very safe first lap. We saw a couple of guys in the Category 1B qualifying dropping banker laps and then ducking into the pits for a fresh set of tyres, and I've just been told that we have no cars on screen, and thank you very much. I am a little bit, I can't say that word because it's 9 o'clock, but I am less than intelligent and had not switched it across, so thank you. Thank you very much, YouTube chat, for telling me that I am an idiot. We should now have cars on track and you guys can actually see what we are all talking about.
Shit.
Yep, that's 100% my bad. So just a quick recap. GTR still currently in pole position for now, as he is a little bit down on his time as he's on the embankment section. Will he come into the pits for a fresh set of boots? Young Wacky moves himself up into P2, knocking Diswood back down to P3. And yes, GTR is into the pits. Oh, Foss has dropped the hammer as well. Puts himself into P2 with a 145.7. Jesus. Oh, but there we go.
Yeah.
As expected. Geesh, top of the table, a 145.364, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen.
At least I've got one corner less to do than everyone else. But what?
I think there is. I think they're
Sure.
I think they're running a slightly different layout to everybody else, and in which case, I would say blame the race director. But given the circumstances right now, I don't think that's a viable option. So we'll leave the race director out of this, I'd say, given that the race director is currently sitting in the comms box next to me and is giving me a very dirty look. And anyway, so moving along.
But there's mixed duties. Wow, that's incredible time. 45.3.
Just keeping an eye on him through this banked section before the bus stop. Well, he is a couple of tenths down, so he might just... Oh, here we go. This is a little bit spicy because we've got GDR on track, and is that... No, it's not Wakey, it's Dale Teeks, your other driver.
In his standard delivery.
Right, okay, so Dale Teeks not getting the memo about the retro liveries?
Yeah, memo was sent, but yes.
Rightio, I've got a feeling there'll be some interesting discussion in the Kraken Motorsports Garage post-race.
No harm, no foul, and if he can actually follow Prima home with a good time, I'd be quite stoked.
Well, GDR is on his outlap at the moment, and there's another half a dozen drivers in the pits right now, so...
There is.
Let's see how Dale Teeks can go. He's in P8. I think he was on an outlap as well, by the looks of his lap times. So
yeah,
his third lap was a 2:10, and then lap 4 was a 1:49. So I would say that was the first lap or an outlap. Outlap, I would say.
Yes.
But there we go. GDR back into P2. Foss in third, he's on an outlap, so coming out with a fresh set of boots, as is Wakey, Diswood. Ebolk's up in P6, so he will be absolutely stoked with that performance so far, also on an outlap. Same again for Heafy on an outlap, so Dale Teeks is the next guy in line who's not on an outlap. It's currently P8, and they've got 1 minute left of regular qualifying to go. So I think Dale Teeks will be getting this lap in and the one more. I've just had it fired into the chat that the BSR car is based off the Crema Porsche 935K. I have absolutely no idea what that is.
But it's very specific.
But I will pretend that I do. I was supposed to mute my microphone when I said that. Nah, just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. I am motorsport clueless. You should all know that by now. What can Dale Teeks do? He improves by 2.5 tenths, moves up to P7, and is promptly smacked back down to P8 by Scooter 82, who slots into 7th out of nowhere. Actually, by the way, I forgot to do a little run through the grid tonight, so my apologies. I hadn't actually mentioned Scooter at this point, who has taken advantage of the PWR cooling system sponsorship over the last couple of weeks, and has worked on the cooling system of that little Peugeot after the unfortunate overheating issue that caused him to drop out of last round's race. So thankfully the sponsor's coming in clutch for the Doghouse driver and has managed to get himself back onto the grid for here at Daytona. Hopefully the cooling system all holds together this week. So final lap of qualifying. Geesh is still out front. Just check in and see how he's doing in terms of time. Oh, he's a couple of tenths down. GDR's approaching the bus stop. He's 1/10 down on Geesh. Gets an absolutely blistering run through there. Caddy. Oh, is that going to come with an invoice? That was tight. Oh, he's up on his time. He's 2/10 up. Oh, he's got a penalty. Oh,
That's a cruel.
That has killed it. And he's moved up to the high part of the embankment. Wakey crosses a line, 1 second down. Foss is giving Diswood an absolutely beautiful slipstream here at the moment. Diswood returns a favour, gives Foss a bit of a nudge. Scooter 82 drops it into second if you don't mind. Diswood gets P4 and just pips Foss out of P5 in the dying moments of qualifying. Oof, that got spicy very quickly there. And I think E-Bulk is very well down on his regular time with a 2-minute lap. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our qualifying session run and done. So let's have a little bit of a recap of our qualifying results, if you don't mind, with quite a lot happening there in the later stages.
Wow.
Once I get some screenshots done, and rightio, thanks to Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. Our qualifying for Category 1A brought to you by APR Automotive. Geesh drops the hammer and takes out the pole position with a 145.364. And a mere 1/10 exactly behind is Scooter McGavin for Doghouse in the little Peugeot that could. Now, that's 2 races in a row that we've seen the little Peugeot qualifying second on the grid, so maybe there's more to the Peugeot at Daytona than I originally gave it credit for. I have a long and decorated history of being wrong about a lot of things here on stream, so I'm sure there's a few Peugeot drivers hoping that this will be yet another notch in my belt in things that I've been wrong about. Third on the grid is GTR for Blacklight in the pretty pink McLaren, followed by Diswood, just missing out on the top 3 but still getting it in onto the second row of the grid in the zero-turn Porsche. On the third row of the grid is Foss in the BSR Porsche, followed by Young Wacky in the Kraken Esports Ferrari. The fourth row of the grid is occupied by E-Bulk for Symmetry, with Pav filling in for Niff in the CP Motorsports Porsche. So a fairly solid result for him on his first time out in the main game. Then we've got Dale Teeks in the Kraken Ferrari on the fifth row of the grid, joined by Heafy in the Thunder Motorsports McLaren. And then rounding out our grid tonight is Slappers in the golden black Datsun Peugeot and Tombo in the other pink blacklight McLaren. Now, Tombo not having the greatest of qualifying by the looks of it, but we'll see if things can improve for him in terms of the race. So, how did that go for you, Mr. Bumcrack? Was that somewhat as you expected, or...?
Yeah, pretty well. The tops went very tight. We've got 0.5 of a second between first down to 8th. Yeah, just on half a second from first down to 8th. And not a lot above that. So,
now we've got we've got 8 drivers in the 145 bracket, so
yeah,
more than half the grid in the sub 46s. That is bloody fast, not gonna lie. And the scary thing is, some of those drivers are doing that without slipstream. I'm just putting it out there. That's terrifyingly fast. But we'll just give our drivers a bit of a heads up that we are about to kick things off very, very quickly. So people in the YouTube chat, fire in your podium predictions, please. No particular order is required, just the top 3. Who do you think's going to get there? Is it going to be a Scooter GTR podium, or do you think someone like Foss or Young Wacky could make their way up the field and onto the podium. I'm sure my fellow comms person and race director tonight would be more than happy for young Wakey to make his way up onto the podium. Hashtag no bias.
Yeah, hey, look, it's with this race here with the fuel saving and all the rest of it involved, I think it's anyone in the top 9 will be able to take this.
I am fairly confident in saying that I don't think we will see anybody trying a 2-stop in this field. I think it's been in the other races we've seen so far. The 2-stop is the less than favourable option, and it's entirely possible that the category 2B was the exception rather than the rule in terms of that strategy and its outcome. But anyway, enough blabbering. What do you say we push the big shiny button and we get this race underway?
I think we actually, yes, the boys will be itching at the bit to get going. Let's let them loose.
Rightio, so we've got Mr. Robert Rice in the chat saying Geesh GDR scooter. So he's going off with a very very similar qualifying order prediction. And he's obviously going well, I was about to say he's obviously throwing his support behind his doghouse teammate, and we've got a dog in the house throwing their support behind you tonight by the sound of things. As we have our drivers on track and we have our lights counting down, and they have gone green and we are underway. Thanks to APR Automotive, Category 1A, Round 7 here at Daytona Beach, Florida, USA. Well, it's already getting very, very spicy at Turn 1. Diswood sends it down the inside, makes his way past GDR with absolutely no room to spare into Turn 1. And he's gone for the Hail Mary into Turn 4 and up the inside of Scooter. He is not here to procreate with arachnids. He is a man on a mission here tonight. So, 4 corners, 2 positions for Diswood. And he sends it down the inside at the second hairpin on the infield section. And he has made his way past Geesh. Right, so I have the sneaking suspicion. Now, we'll leave it a little bit, but I am starting to suspect that Woody is on racing softs and everyone else is on mediums.
There may or may not be some truth to that rumour, but yeah, well, time will tell.
Okay, right, so maybe Diswood has heard what I've said about the 2-stop strategy and decided he's going to live up to a long-standing tradition of giving me the finger and doing exactly what he wants to do. So I am all for that if that makes for some exciting racing action. I am all for the drivers giving me the finger. That is fine by me. So at the moment, Diswood has decided to jump the gun and get away. He's out in front and setting fastest lap at the moment, although here we go. The main action at the moment is with GTR, Wacky and Foss in 4th, 5th and 6th. All jostling for position here at Turn 1, but it's all fair and love and war at the moment. You can tell Wakey wants to get past, but so far GDR's holding station quite nicely. They just managed. Foss is still holding with. And there's just under a second back to E-Bulk in P7. Pav still holding station in P8. But he's got a very quick looking Dale Teeks for company in the slipstream in P9. Eefy's P10. It's all fairly still running well together here in the back part of the grid, with Slappers and Tombo bringing up the rear of the grid. Diswood has dropped the hammer. He's dropping purple lap pace at this point, and he's currently got a 1.6 second lead over Geesh. So, look, we might be seeing a two-stop runner here in Diswood, wanting to make hay while the sun shines and get the heck out of Dodge while he can.
Very possible.
I'd throw another cliche in there, but I can't think of any more at this point.
He's done enough to get out of their slipstream, get them out of the slipstream, but very wants to hold on to keep going.
There's a lot of action going on back in the just off the podium positions, with GDR having to absolutely work his butt off defensively against Scooter at the moment. Young Wacky's dropped a few positions back to P6. Probably not news you want to be hearing right now, but he's still within touch.
Long-term game plan.
So a bit of a chopping and changing in positions at the moment. So Scooter, what did Scooter qualify? He dropped it into P2, didn't he?
Yes.
So he's dropped back 2 spots, back to P4. GDR's made his way past, but Scooter is well in the slipstream, so that could be prone to change at pretty much any given point. But Scooter wisely lifts off there just before the bus stop. We did see a side-by-side overtake around the outside through the bus stop in the 1B race in the form of Danico over Ricky Bobby, but I don't think they're going to try it here in the 1A race.
There's quite a lot to be said with the caravan in this race though, saving fuel.
100%. You can come into the pits half a second behind the guy in front of you, but if you've managed to save 10% of fuel over him, you're going to come out of the pits theoretically a second and a half in front, so...
GTR's not thinking that way though, he just lifted himself up in a second.
Yep, he's managed to get himself past Geesh into turn 1 there, or down the front straight, quotation marks, straight, with a slight bend in it, but I mean it's an oval track, we'll just call it a straight and be done with it. So Foss still hanging in there as well, he's in P5. He's probably looking at this small bunch of drivers in front of him and thinking, you know what, fighting with these three would be a very, very bad idea at this stage of the race. I mean, we are lap 4 into lap 26. So now that we are a little bit in, can you give us some insight into the tyre, who's running what tyre?
Well, funny you should say that because your initial expectations were correct. Diswood's running the softs and he's really trying to do all the work while he can at the moment. With a nearly 4-second lead and a purple sector, he's doing alright. He's sitting on about 60-odd% fuel. Prima's got probably now a good 10% more fuel on his medium. Geesh got more fuel again, probably onto the about 70% mark.
Oh, hang on, GDR's in the pits. There we go.
On his wow.
Okay, so maybe my prediction about the two-stop strategy. Okay, there's E-Bulk's in, Heafy's in as well. Okay, there's a key element
this is a
here.
McLaren thing.
Yes.
This is a McLaren thing.
Do 4 laps on the mediums and then get rid of them and run 2 11-lap soft stints. Okay.
11 laps on softs. Oh, that's confidence.
Yeah. Oh, it's plenty doable, I can confirm. You wouldn't want to do much more than that. I did experiment with doing a 13-lap stint on the softs. Yeah, that rear right really doesn't like you. Laps 12 and 13 have to be taken very, very carefully. There we go, as Diswood is keeping the hammer firmly dropped. He's run a 146.6 on his last lap there.
Wow.
Setting purple laps all over the place. And clearly not fuel saving at all.
No, he's down to 50% of a tank now. Everyone else has got a heap more.
Right, so he's down to 50% and he's got a penalty there, so that's going to hurt.
Oh,
And he's not quite done 5 laps, so theoretically that's 10 laps on a tank of fuel. He is running an interesting strategy, I'll give him that. Right, so we'll leave that alone for now, as Geesh has managed to get his way... Oh no, he hasn't got his way back past because GDR ducked into the pits, so that handed him back P2. But Geesh is certainly far from safe at the moment. He is... I don't know if he's under fire from Scooter or just under pressure, and Scooter being content to just make his presence known while saving a little bit of fuel. But it looks like Foss is very, very racy in P4 at the moment. He probably wouldn't mind getting between Scooter and Geesh.
You're too close to me.
Just to give himself that little bit of breathing space. Young Wacky's in a little bit of no man's land at the moment. He's 2.5 seconds off the back of Foss and 2.5 seconds up on his teammate. So, I mean, not the worst place to be, I'd say. Maybe not the best place for him either, but you know, it's still early in the race. We're on lap 6 of 26, still plenty of time to go, still plenty of things can happen. Also noted in the chat, a very keen-eyed viewer in the form of Artsy, saying that there is a nice touch from Foss and his team, Rocky05, with a ROP Alan Moffat on the livery. I have not noticed that myself, so nicely spotted, Artsy. But yes, very sad news earlier this week with the passing of the great Alan Moffat. So rest in peace, big fella. Very long and decorated racing career. That there are people who know much more about it than I do, so I will not pretend to be able to reel off the stats.
You're certainly one of the heroes in my job.
I've just seen a message from GDR in the YouTube chat saying 2 stop for lols. So, okay.
And he's got time to type it out. What?
Well, he's in the pits, so I mean, with the fuel stop of the McLaren, you've got time. But really, GDR, concentrate on the race, mate. You've got work to do. So speaking of work to do, I think Dale Teagues in P6 has a little bit of work to do because he's got Pav, who's having a bloody brilliant drive tonight, hot on his heels in P7, closely followed by Slappers in that beautiful gold and black Bacchus-sponsored Datsun Peugeot. Damn, that was a mouthful. And then we've got Tombo in P9, who's, well, he started dead last, so he's doing a great job. I mean, okay, let's forget about the fact that the 3 drivers behind him have pitted. Let's ignore that. Okay, let's just pretend I didn't say that, and Tombo's doing bloody brilliant. He's got himself into P9.
Very nice.
So checking in back up near the front. Diswood has checked out to the tune of 6.2 seconds, so he's not hanging around. And with the likes of Geesh, Scooter and Foss behind him, I wouldn't want to hang around either, because that would be bloody terrifying to have behind you. So Geesh is still in P2. He's being the tractor to the train of Scooter and Foss, just punching a hole in the air and doing all of the work while the guys behind him can do a little bit of fuel saving in the slipstream. And that might just be working to the advantage of young Wacky, who he was 2.5 seconds down. He's managed to halve that gap, so he's only 1.2 seconds behind Foss, and he's currently purple through the infield. So there's some good news for our race director, aka the Kraken Esports team owner.
Yes, it's quite good to see. I'll get off him though, because I don't really want to watch him do something silly with the commentator's curse.
Righty, we will get the camera off him as Dale Teeks gets down the inside of Pav, coming out of the infield onto the banking, and moves up into P6, taking that 6th position off Pav. And Pav doesn't seem to want to get past, but was happy to give Dale Teeks a bump draft. But Pav got a bit of a bump from Slappers there, so he didn't really have much of a choice. Pav seemed content to bump draft Dale Teeks, and then Slappers bump draft Pav, and well, I think Pav doesn't really have much of a
back there.
I think Pav is saying, I don't want to overtake, but Slappers wants me to, so off we go. And Slappers is giving Pav the helping hand and has helped them both make a move on young Dale Teeks as Diswood is into the pits at the end of lap 8 on those racing softs. So, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Because if he's getting 8 laps out of a tank, that's 8, 16, 24, and then two laps on the meet. Don't tell me Woody's going for a 3-stop. That would be.
I mean, he could have done more on the tyres, and he could have done more of the fuel, I guess.
Okay, interesting. I'm genuinely at a bit of a loss as to what Woody's doing at the moment. That's something we'll definitely keep an eye on.
He's keeping it interesting. That's what he's doing.
So one thing Woody's good at, he's always good at throwing a spanner in the works. So still running in P1 at the moment now is Geesh, inheriting the lead from Woody. Getting a little bit of a bump draft there from Scooter. So Scooter's obviously not wanting to make a move just yet, but he does seem to want to maybe try and break away from Foss, who now has a young Wacky right up under the rear wing. So it's now a 4-way battle in for the top spot. So 4 cars, very well clear, as there is a bit over 6 seconds back to Slappers, who's now leading the next little pack of cars in the form of himself with Pav and Dale Teeks, P7. Then we've got a fair bit of daylight actually. Well, actually not that much. Back to Tombo, who's hanging on the back of these guys. Sorry, how could I miss a bright pink car? Sorry, good dog. So, Tombo's here, so we've got 2 groups of 4. We've got the top 4, then the next 4, obviously. And then GDR, after having run the early pit stop at the end of lap 4, he's actually currently taken over the fastest lap, having dropped a 146.4 on lap 8. So 2 laps ago. And he's in clear air. He's got 17 seconds to his teammate in front, and then he's got 10 seconds to E-Bulk behind him. So E-Bulk and Heafy were the other 2 drivers who hit at the end of lap 4. But GDR seems to have well and truly skipped away from them. Now, Diswood's come out dead last in P12. What tyres does Woody have on the car at this point? Upcrack?
He's jumped back onto softs.
Okay, so he's gone for another stint on the softs, and how's he tracking for fuel?
He put about 80% into it, which to me says he's after possibly another, is that 9 laps?
Speaking of which, should we possibly cut to an APR tyre and fuel update as we come to the end of lap 10?
I think it'll be an appropriate time for it.
Beautiful. So our tyre and fuel update brought to you by APR Automotive, and starting off with Jeesh.
Yeah, he's right out the front there. He's on his medium tyres, and he's probably 28% fuel, which is not quite as good, as bad as Scooter, who's on about 24% fuel. So Scooter's got that little bit less fuel than him. Boss, he's about the same sort of fuel as Jeesh, about 27%. Everyone's got very similar. We're on the medium tyres. Wacky's a little bit down. He's about 24%, similar to Scooter. Slapper's mate, he's again very similar to Wacky, at about 24% mark. Pav with a tiny advantage over Slappers. As far as fuel, again, all the top, very similar at about 15% worn on the mediums. Dale is actually looking a little bit better at 25% on the fuel. Tombo's down to about 20% on his fuel, so he's going to struggle to make the laps that those in front of him are making. GTR, now these are the first of the guys on the alternate. GTR's on his soft tyres and they're about 45 fuel right now. But Diswood's actually on his soft tyres but gone to about 70% fuel. So a big difference in their strategies there. Heafy, he's about 45% fuel on his soft tyres. As with Evolt, he's about 48% soft tyres. So, yeah, there's a few strategies going on here.
Alright, definitely an interesting mix. Thank you, Mr. Bumcrack, and thank you, APR Automotive, for that tyre and fuel update. Right, so I genuinely thought it was going to be just a straight up raft of one-stop strategies, possibly an alternate tyre choice to start the race with. Clearly I was wrong, and that's okay, because that makes things a lot more exciting for the rest of us, so me being wrong is a good thing.
This was elected to put an awful lot of fuel in there with his soft run. Something like GTR, I suppose he's got another 6 laps on the softs. Yeah, some strange ways of going around it. Interesting, yeah.
So a bit of a mover and a shaker at the moment is Slappers, who's got himself up into P5, so he's decided, I've had enough of sitting in the slipstream of this second group of 4 cars. I'm going to start leading the way. And the gap between him and young Wacky is at 6.7 seconds, so we'll see if he can make some headway into that. But he's managed to get a second between himself and Pav at the moment, so Slappers has definitely decided to drop the hammer and turn the afterburners on at this point. Pav still holding his own quite nicely here in P6 on his debut main game drive for CP Motorsport, so hey Niff, you might not want to miss too many races, mate. You might find your seat under a little bit of trouble. Nah, just kidding, mate. Just kidding. Dale Teague's holding his own P7. Tombo still hanging in there. Not really getting closer, not really dropping back. So gap back to GTR is at, what, 12.9 seconds? Near enough, say 13. As we are on lap 13. I'm just going to have a follow through with these guys in the front pack. We might jump on board with Foss coming out of the infield section. Just ride on board the BSR Porsche as they run through the banks, first part of the bank section of the track. I'm interested to see, will they come into the pits on lap 13 or will they try and push it to lap 14 to just make the soft tyre stint that little bit safer, I guess would be the word.
I'm pretty sure Scooter's going to come in this lap.
Is the fuel light doing its disco dance?
It is.
Right, so Peugeot in is a prediction. And you predict correctly, the Peugeot is in 2%. Young Wacky comes in
Wacky
with
as well.
5%. So, okay, he would have been very hard pressed to get another lap out of that Ferrari.
Yeah.
Alright, so Dale Teeks manages to go around again. So he's done a little bit better on the fuel save than his teammate. We'll see how the overcut works out between those two. GDR slides on by all the drivers who are in the pits at the moment. So he's currently 4th on the road, but remember he is running the 2-stop, whereas everyone else around him is running the 1-stop. Well, in fairness, actually, we've got Diswood just coming out of into turn 4 now. He's on the 2-stop as well. And Heafy just coming towards the same part. So all of the 2-stoppers have managed to get past the first of the single stoppers in the pits, as confusing as that sounds.
Yes.
So out of those single stoppers, Young Wakey has done the best, and he's jumped out in front of Scooter. So that's
good.
How has he done that? What's the fuel load on Wacky?
He's only short. Wakey's only short fuel, maybe 3 or 4%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a bit of a longer pit stop there from Scooter has dropped him back Wakey, who came into the pits in P4 from memory. As we now have Geesh and Foss into the pits on 2 and 3% fuel respectively. And Dale Teeks into the pits as well. So that gives GDR the provisional lead of the race, I guess, at this point.
Yes.
So the McLaren doing McLaren things, running a 2-stop strategy. I am genuinely interested to see how this will work out in Cat 1A with the likes of GDR's ability running it.
If anyone can make these sort of strategies work, these are them.
Correct. So we've got Diswood and Heafy. Also clear of and E-Bolt, clear of the runners. And there is, Foss has managed to jump Geesh into the pits, and they have both come out in front of Young Wacky and Scooter. There's not a lot of gap between them, so there's 1 and 1.2 seconds between Foss and Geesh. And then about 1.5 seconds back to Young Wacky, and then a bit over a second back to Scooter. So the pit differential hasn't made any huge gains or losses, but it's definitely shaken up the order a little bit. So Scooter's dropped back 2 spots, Young Wakey's made up 1 spot, and Geesh has dropped back a spot from that original top 4 running order.
Is GTR in?
No, so end of lap 15. So he's going to go an 11 lap stint to bring it home, and one would hazard that he's definitely going to jump onto the softs. So another mover is Pav, who's gotten back past Slappers and put himself into P9. Slappers has gone past Dale Teeks as well. Fairly similar gaps between the 3 drivers, around the 1.5 to 1.8 second mark. They have managed to drop Tombo off the back to the tune of 3 seconds. So Diswood currently first on the track. He's got a 18.1 second lead over Foss. But I would hazard a guess that he is going to be into the pits, I would say, in another 2 laps time.
I think you're right. 18 seconds is not going to cover a pit.
Is Diswood on the mediums or he was on the softs again, wasn't he?
He's back on the soft still.
Right, so his first stint was 8 laps on the softs, and we're now finishing lap 16. I wonder if he's going to pit at the end of this lap or try and run it a bit longer.
Well, he's got enough fuel and enough tyre to do either.
So he's negotiated the bus stop. Coming around the final turn now. We'll just stick with him a little bit and see what decision he makes. I would not be at all surprised if he comes past the comms box with a finger hanging out of the window. And he does exactly that, past the pits. Radio, there we go. So on to lap 17 he goes. And he's actually managed to increase that lead to Foss by another 6/10. Who now has a very rapid looking Geesh on his back, but looking like Geesh is giving him a bit of a bump draft there. Like Geesh knows they need to work together a little bit at this stage to try and get away from young Wacky, who's currently sitting in 4th. He is just over a second behind Geesh at the moment, so I think Geesh and Foss know that if they muck around too much trying to fight, that that'll bring young Wacky back into it very, very quickly. That might be the plan for Geesh right now, as he's not really looking like making any moves or getting past. Young Wacky's doing very, very well at the moment. He's now back within the slipstream, so I think Foss needs to, Foss or Geesh need to drop the hammer and get a move on, because I don't think young Wacky's going to want to play the slipstream game. I think he's going to want to get past. Now the curveball element is what's going to happen with Woody and GTR. Alright, so Woody's in the pits.
Yes.
That answers that question.
We'll put him a fair way down the field.
So I'm just looking at Scooter at the moment, who's in P5. He's 23 seconds off the back of Diswood. I would dare say Woody's going to come out, I would say, behind Scooter, and between Scooter and Pav. Although I could be incredibly wrong about that, because Pav is coming further. Yeah, Pav is coming across the line now, and Woody's not even just started putting fuel in the car. Right, yeah. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I do remember saying something about me being wrong about a lot of things. This is just another one of those things on that list. But that's all right. I'm okay with it. So Dale Teeks is still tagging on the back here of Slappers in the little battle for P6, P7. A little bit of a gap back to Tombo in P8, who has his hard-charging teammate GDR behind him in P9. I would probably hazard a guess that they are on the Blacklight team radio, and I don't think Tombo will be providing any resistance for his teammate, given that they are both running different strategies. But we're on lap 18 of 26. Our GTR currently 9th, but he will have much fresher tyres than the drivers in front of him in the later stages of the race, like especially after lap 22, 23. So He's currently 20... let's just call it... oh, hello! So, GDR gives his teammate a big bump draft coming into the braking zone of the bus stop, which I'm not sure is the ideal move or not, but Tombo pulls up to the high side of the embankment and lets his teammate slide on by and then drops back into the slipstream. So definitely teamwork going on there. So GDR is at this point 23 seconds behind Foss in the lead. So we'll keep an eye on that gap, see how that comes down as we progress in the later stages of the race. But back up the front, it's become definitely a three-way battle here, with two Porsches and a Ferrari in the form of Foss from BSR, Geesh from CP, and Young Wacky from Kraken. I don't think these three want to battle too much, because just bear in mind, Scooter's less than 3 seconds behind. That pit stop did hurt him a little bit in terms of time and track position. But if those three up front decide to make a bit of a battle of it all, he will be back into the mix quicker than you know what's going on. So I think they need to bear that in mind. They can't just focus exactly on the two guys around them. They need to be aware of that other element just a little bit off the back. We might just jump on board Wacky in the Kraken Ferrari. Getting a very up close and personal view of the back of the CP and BSR Porsches. Absolutely brilliant close quarter driving here from all three drivers.
Certainly braver than me.
I don't know if he's relying on muscle memory or what, because just watching things from his point of view, I can't even see where I'm going. Oh, but that Ferrari at full noise.
Sound good.
Is he looking to make a move here? No, just gives Geesh a little bit of a tap. Lap 20 of 26, probably a bit early to go making any moves. The gap back to Scooter has just gone out a little bit to 3.2 seconds now. I think Scooter will probably be praying for these three to start fighting. As Geesh is possibly looking for a move around the outside to turn one. No, nothing doing this lap. I think it might just be a case of maintain stations at this point.
I think the three of them are actually just playing with each other at the moment, trying to use the least amount of fuel. They're on that run home.
A little bit of mind games and tactics going on here.
It certainly is.
So just having a look a bit further down the field, we've got Pav with a bloody solid drive here. He's got himself up into P5 over Slappers in P6 at the moment. These two have managed to jump away a little bit over Dale Teeks, who's in P7 at the moment. He's 1.5 seconds off the back of Slappers, and that gap for GDR, he was 23 seconds behind the leaders. That gap is only around 21 seconds at the moment, so not really coming down at the rate that he would probably like it to. I mean, he does still hold the fastest lap with a 1:46.4, so he will pick up the extra point at this stage, because, let's be honest, with 5.5 laps to go, I don't think anyone's going to be in the position to drop a fastest lap. His teammate Tombo, solid effort in P9. Diswood with the very ambitious two-stop, currently P10. Efi in the next of the two-stoppers, P11, closely followed by E-Bulk, P12. So yeah, safe to say the two-stop in a Category 1, probably not the viable option. Not when you've got the likes of Foss, Geesh and Wacky who can, you know, they're doing a one-stop and they're still doing laps in the 1:47 range. I was lucky to do a time in the 1:47 in qualifying spec. let alone in race pace specs, in fuel save mode. So that puts things into perspective. Yours truly was doing a 1:47 in qualifying trim. These guys are doing it in fuel save mode. That's why they're Cat 1.
Exactly, yeah. Tell you what, these top three are really sort of worrying me. Like it's going to be very tight at the end.
Yeah, but I think Scooter might just be an unfortunate spectator at a distance here. That gap's gone out to 4 seconds. And he's in very much no man's land. He's 4 seconds off the back of the top three, and he's 11 seconds up on Pav in P5. So I think he's short of a catastrophe happening up ahead of him. I think a step on the podium might just be eluding him. But having said that, I think he will also be very happy that the cooling system in that Doghouse Peugeot is holding together at this stage. So
Yes.
There's a silver lining there for the Doghouse driver. But checking back in with that top three, I think you are right. They're just they're being a little bit coy about things at the moment. Nobody's bump drafting. Nobody's showing the nose, playing games. It's all very sedate, one would say. And having seen the caliber of these three drivers, sedate driving worries me.
They're just planning their last lap, I think.
Yeah, it's I'd say lap 25, end of lap 25, start of 26, it's going to absolutely kick off. This will be the calm before the storm, I'm thinking. The end of lap 23. So end of lap 23. They're all still running line astern, a couple of tenths between them. Nobody's showing their hand just yet. The gap back to Scooter's gone out to 5 seconds. I think he's just possibly accepted his fate. But I don't think Pav can relax just yet. He's got 2.5 tenths up on Slappers, who's right under the rear wing of that CP Porsche. As a little Datsun Peugeot looks around the outside of turn 1, and there's a move behind with GTR, sending it up round the let me try that again. Sends it up the inside of Dale Teeks into turn 1, gets a move done, moves up into P7. That puts him hot onto the heels of this Slappers Pav battle. So with those two drivers on aging tyres and on a fuel save scenario, they are in a lot of danger from GTR right now, as he's on much fresher tyres and is much better situated fuel-wise, so he could just, well, given he dropped a purple lap of a 146.420 on the last lap, he is in a much better position. So fairly safe to say that GTR will make short work of the two guys in front of him, and will be, I dare say, he will be in 5th position by the end of the race. He's 16.5 seconds off the lead, so that gap has come down. But he's got another 10 seconds to make to get up to Scooter, so that's 5 seconds a lap. That's yeah, that's ambitious. As he's well within the slipstream of slappers, pulls up onto the high side of the embankment, onto the final run down to the finish line. Slappers is in the slipstream of Pav, so he does have that advantage. GTR does have the better tyres, wants to hang it around the outside of turn 1. Oh, is he going to get a 2-for-1 special? Pav runs a little deep, blocks GTR's run just that little bit. Slappers and GTR side by side through 2 and 3, but I think GTR's going to have the grip to get it done. Does so, moves up into... Oh no, GTR's binned it! Oh my god! Oh, that has not gone well on the infield. I think he's just gotten onto the power a little bit early on the first of the horseshoes, as we take a quick look at that on our LJ Media Action replay. Was there some assistance? Was that self-inflicted? Ooh, that, look, that... That might have had some assistance. Look, I've got some slight technical issues going on here in the comms box at the moment, so please bear with me as we keep an eye on Jish, and we are on our final lap, lap 26. Jish wants to send it around the outside of turn 1. A very ambitious move, not gonna lie. Foss manages to hold on to it, but he is under a lot of pressure from Jish through the infield section.
Jish does have a slight fuel advantage on him too.
Right, there we go. I've managed to solve that technical issue. I now have audio back. We are good to go, but there is a massive battle for the lead here. Can Foss hold on through the infield? It looks like he can, but he's going to have his work cut out for him on the embankment section of the oval part of the course, because the slipstream has a massive effect here, so he is a little bit of a sitting duck here for Foss. They have managed to drop Wacky to the tune of 2 seconds, so unfortunately he will not be a factor. This is a Porsche versus Porsche battle for the win here at Daytona. Jish pulls to the inside for the bus stop. I think he might just get it done before the braking section, but if Foss can get a good run through the bus stop here, he is in the prime seat for a run to the finish line. He has gotten a decent run, but will he have enough in the slipstream? He's picked up a penalty! Oh no!
Oh, that's what I heard.
Absolutely killed it for Foss. He's got the half-second
He's just
penalty.
running out of fuel.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. So taking the win is Jish for CP. Foss will bring it home P2. Young Wacky with a P3, very well earned. Scooter McGavin for Doghouse P4. Pav for CP, fill-in driver, brings home 5th at his debut drive in the main game for Sector 1. Dale Teagues,
Great work.
P6, solid team points for Kraken. GDR on the alt strat, P7, Slappers P8. Tombo here, side by side with Diswood over the line.
Who's going to do it?
Who's going to get it? Tombo just gets him. And Ebolk here has got the lead, got the front position over Heafy.
Who's got a penalty?
Oh dear, that's definitely, that's what's done it. The Ebolk P11, Heafy P12, and that, everybody, is our race one for category 1A run and done. Wow, that was definitely a thing.
Yeah,
I was genuinely not expecting to see any two-stoppers in this race tonight, and we had 4 of them.
Yes,
three of them were McLarens.
Yeah, the highest finishing was Ebolk. He was a two-stopper, wasn't he?
GTR in 7th.
Oh.
So as we will have a quick recap of our race results, thanks to Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. Taking out the race win tonight for CP Motorsports is Jeesh, and one can probably fairly safely say he's put one hand and a couple of fingers on the Category 1A Championship with that result. Rounding off our podium is Foss for BSR, finishing in P2 with a final step on the podium being occupied by Young Wacky for Kraken Esports. And then P4, we've got a solid result for the Doghouse Motorsport Peugeot Scooter 82. P5 with a bloody great result for his debut drive and a fill-in for Pav for CP Motorsports. Consolidating some solid team points for Kraken Esports is Dale Teagues in P6. The first of the two-stopper alt-strat, also with the fastest lap, so he'll pick up an extra point there, is GTR for Blacklight Motorsports. P8 occupied by Slapper's Mate for Dadson Racing. P9 for Blacklight is Tombo. P10 for Zero Turn is Diswood. P11 for Symmetry Motorsports is Ebolk. And rounding out our finishes tonight is Heafy for Thunder Motorsports. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our Sector 1 Season 11 Round 7 run and done. Now that was our track vote round for the season, and our final race for the season is none other than a mini enduro at the Spa-Francorchamps in the wonderful area that is Belgium. Now, being a mini enduro, that is going to be a 1-hour race, and being that it is Spa, torrential rain is a likely scenario, unless of course you are category 2B, and then of course we don't get rain, and our intermediates and wet tyres are just a joke at this stage. But who knows, GT7 may not do GT7 things. And we might just be able to get some weather into things. But enough of that. Driver of the day, Mr. Bumcrack, what are your thoughts?
I'll be quite happy to give it to Pat, actually. He had a great run. Considering how fast everyone was around him, he held pace and came home with a 5th. I think it was 5th, wasn't it? Yes.
Yes, it absolutely was. Yeah, I'm actually inclined to agree with you. Driver of the day for me goes to Pav. Like, debut drive in the top category. He's a fill-in driver. Just absolutely sends it and gets himself a 5th position for his troubles. An honourable mention does go to Foss though. Absolutely brilliant drive, and only narrowly missing out on the race win. So definitely a worthy nomination as well. Checking in with the guys in the chat, we've got driver of the day for Pav from Debrev. We've got driver of the day Pav from Robert Rice. Nif has fired into the chat. Well done, Pav. I reckon I'm being replaced for next round, even if he is at home. Yeah, watch out, Nif. That seat of yours might not be safe if you're not careful.
He's gone. He's gone.
And also driver of the day for Foss from Artsy. Thanks for keeping it interesting. Well, he certainly did more than that. So, yeah, look, I reckon driver of the day, Pav. That's definitely a solid result for him. Righty-o. So, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm going to keep things short because, you know, I have a tendency to ramble on if I'm given half the opportunity. So, I will not do that, and I will close things up very quickly tonight. Any final words from you, Mr. Bumcrack?
Oh, it's actually a good, interesting night of racing. That a few different strategies sort of made it good.
100%. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to see any two-stop strategies here in Cat 1A, but you know, like I said, these guys have a long history of giving me the finger and doing the complete opposite of what I tend to think. So. May that continue. May that tradition continue, because as long as it results in more exciting racing for everybody to watch, I am more than happy to be wrong and to have drivers give me the finger as they go past the comms box on track. So thank you all again for joining us, and I hope that you can tune in again next week for our final round of Category 2 for the season. It's a very, very, very close points battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in Cat 2B from memory, so it's maybe a case of who dares wins for the podium positions in 2B. And in 2A, how are things looking for you there, Mr. Bumcrack?
Pretty comfortable actually. I think I've only got to turn up to the next race and do half a race, and I'm doing all right. So, but the battle is actually on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Pretty tight.
Rightio. Well, I genuinely hope you do decide to show up and to do at least.
Don't worry, I will.
And from memory, I'm pretty sure it's 3/4 race distance you need to do.
I think as long as I get past the half place last points, I should be all right.
But either way, let's go for finishing the race, and we'll go from there.
I'll go finishing the race with a podium.
Nice work. Set the ambitions high. I like it. Well, all the best for next week. May the practice go well and the racing go even better. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight, and we look forward to your company next week. Thank you very much, and this has been Carbon Boy and Mr. Bumcrack signing out.
Good night.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We are here tonight for some Category 1 racing action around the Palisades Village.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning all. And this is just the beginning, I need a big change, only feels like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it?
my!
Just sit that steering wheel off that curve.
Fuzzy is somehow keeping it on the track surface. It's a spectacular drive, and he will take his first win in the top flight of Sector 1.